The laugh didn't sound cruel at first. It felt like someone had just remembered a private joke. Then her coworker leaned back, looked straight at me, and said, "So, are you still pretending you don't know, or did she finally tell you?" The entire table went still. Forks paused in midair. Glasses froze halfway to lips. My wife's face lost all its color, like someone had drained it in seconds. In that hanging moment, I realized something was seriously wrong. Whatever he thought I knew, I didn't. And the fact that everyone else seemed aware made the silence louder than any accusation. I'd been married to Claire for 10 years. We weren't flashy, but we were steady. Shared calendars, joint bank accounts, Sunday meal prep. She worked in marketing at a growing tech company, the kind with frequent dinners and team bonding events. I usually skipped those, but this one mattered. She was being considered for a leadership role, and spouses were invited. "It would mean a lot if you came," she said with a smile. I wore the blazer she liked and practiced small talk in the car. I believed we were strong. I believed what we showed matched what we were. Lately, things felt slightly off, but nothing alarming. Claire worked late, traveled more, and kept her phone face down. When I asked, she'd say, "Campaign season, it's brutal." I trusted her because trust had never failed us before. We still texted during the day. "Don't forget milk," she'd write. "Love you," I'd reply. That night, she squeezed my hand under the table, proudly introducing me. "This is my husband," she told her coworkers. The irony of that word would hit me later, hard and sharp. The stakes at that table were bigger than embarrassment. This was her professional world, bosses, peers, people who shaped her future. The coworker who spoke up, Mark, had been drinking, but his eyes were clear. Too clear. Claire shot him a warning look, but it was too late. Someone tried to smooth it over. "Mark, man, relax," another coworker said. But no one laughed. They watched me instead, waiting. I felt like I'd missed a meeting everyone else attended. "What exactly don't I know?" I asked, forcing calm. Mark blinked. "I thought you two were open about it." "Open?" The word crashed like a dropped plate. Claire leaned close and whispered, "Not here, please." My phone buzzed, a text from Claire, from 2 feet away. "We'll talk after, I swear." That wasn't denial. That was delay. Around us, conversations restarted too loudly, too quickly. Now I noticed the glances, the forced kindness. People knew something about my marriage that I didn't. That realization burned worse than anger. I smiled, nodded, and counted the minutes until we left. In the parking lot, the air felt colder. "Explain," I said. Claire hugged herself. "Mark misunderstood." "Then correct him," I replied. She didn't. The drive home was heavy with silence. "Say something," she whispered. "Tell me why your coworker thinks I'm pretending," I said. She stared out the window. "It's complicated." I laughed once. It always is. At home, she poured a glass of water she never drank. "It didn't mean anything," she said quickly. "I haven't even asked yet," I replied. "What didn't mean anything?" She sat slowly. "There was someone," she admitted. "At work?" My chest tightened. "Was?" I asked. "Or is?" She hesitated. That pause said everything. "How long?" "About a year." "Why?" "I felt invisible," she said. "You were always tired." I stared at her. "So you made me invisible instead." She cried. "I never meant for you to find out like that." "You never meant for me to find out at all," I said. That night, I slept on the couch, scrolling through memories, replaying them like evidence. At 2 a.m., a message appeared from an unknown number. "I'm sorry. I honestly thought you knew." It was Mark. He explained Claire had told coworkers we had an understanding. That lie hurt more than the affair. She hadn't just cheated. She'd rewritten our marriage for an audience. In the morning, I showed her the text. She covered her face. I didn't want them judging me, she said. So you let them judge me instead, I replied. The confrontation the next day was quiet but heavy. Who is he? I asked. Evan, she said. He's on my team. Did he know about me? He thought we were separated. I laughed bitterly. How convenient! She insisted it started emotional, then became physical. I kept telling myself I'd stop. Did anyone else know? Most of the team, she whispered. That was the twist. The affair wasn't hidden. I was. I was the last one to know about my own marriage. I asked for proof, not because I doubted her, but because reality felt unreal. She handed me her phone. Messages filled the screen. Plans, jokes, complaints about me disguised as concern. One line stood out. He doesn't need to know. I looked up. About what? She couldn't answer. I asked about money. She charged dinners as work expenses, trips labeled conferences. You risked your job, I said. She nodded. I thought I could manage it. You managed everyone's perception except mine, I replied. That truth settled heavy between us. I asked to meet Evan. We spoke briefly outside a cafe. He looked uncomfortable. She told me you were checked out, he said. I didn't know. The pattern was clear now. Claire crafted stories for everyone. That evening I told her, I'm moving into the guest room. I need space. She begged, we can fix this. I answered honestly, I don't even know what this is anymore. The silence between us felt different now. Not shocking, just worn out. Decisions hung in the air, heavy but impossible to avoid. The aftermath came slowly. HR launched an inquiry after rumors reached management. Claire was reassigned while the review was pending. At home, we lived like roommates, planning our days around each other. Friends noticed. You okay? They asked. Working through things, I said. Therapy started, not to save the marriage, but to understand it. Why didn't you tell him? The therapist asked Claire. I was afraid, she said. I replied, you weren't afraid of losing me. You were afraid of losing comfort. That difference mattered. It explained what had really been protected all along. A month later, Claire faced consequences: probation at work, a lost promotion. Evan transferred teams. At home, we talked about separation calmly. I don't want to hate you, she said. I don't want to live confused, I replied. We split finances, listed the house, and agreed on practical terms. There were moments of nostalgia, shared jokes, old photos, but they felt like artifacts. Healing wasn't dramatic, it was administrative. New routines replaced old ones. I learned how quiet a house can be when honesty finally moves in and secrets move out. I moved into a small apartment near my office. The first weeks were lonely, but clear. No double-checking stories, no decoding silences. Claire texted sometimes. I'm sorry, she'd write. I believed she meant it. Meaning didn't undo it. At work, I focused on simple goals. Nights were for walks, cooking, and early sleep. Friends invited me out. Life continued without the constant hum of doubt. I realized how much energy secrecy drains, not just from the person lying, but from everyone around them, trying to keep the story straight. That question at the dinner still echoes sometimes, not for its cruelty, but for its honesty. It shattered a carefully staged reality with a single sentence. I learned that secrets rarely stay hidden. They gather witnesses, create assumptions, and eventually demand daylight. I wasn't meant to find out that way, but finding out changed everything for the better. The truth didn't save my marriage, but it saved my sense of self. If there's one lesson I carry forward, it's this. Love can survive hard conversations, but it can't survive being edited without your consent.